Okay, let's start. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kada Mahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Manojavam Marutatulya Vegam Jitendriyam Buddhimatam Varishtham Vatatmajam Vanarayuta Mukhyam Sri Ramadutam Shirasa Namami Pujantam Rama Rameti Maduram Maduraksharam Aruhya Kavita Shakham Vande Valmiki Kokilam Apadam Apahartaram Dataram Sarvasampadam Lokabhiramam Sri Ramam Bhuyo Bhuyo Namamyaham Dakshine Lakshmano Yasya Vame tu Janakatmaja Purato Marutir Yasya Tam Vande Raghunandanam. Welcome back for our Ramayana class, which we had put on hold for almost 2 months. We've been traveling in India quite a bit, and I could not guarantee uninterrupted internet connection because we were in some really rural places and in other places where Wi-Fi was not consistent. So I thought instead of a bad experience, better to keep no experience. And that's just how things worked out. Plus, in some weekends, we were traveling. And we traveled extensively by train this time in India. And that's a whole different experience to share another time. But let's get back to where we were. I'm very, very happy and excited to sort of come back to a more normalized life where I can predict that Saturdays I'll be available for doing Ramayana class. And thank you for your patience. And those of you who joined, I am always grateful to you that you haven't signed me off. I'm hoping that it's attraction for the beauty of Sri Ramayana and the personalities in Ramayana. So where we left off is Sri Ramachandra in chapter 28 onwards, who's in Kishkindha region on Mount Prasavana, feeling severe separation from Sita Devi. 4 months of Chaturmas that we are actually going through right now are over. So it's about late October, mid-November time. Hemant Ritu, or the pre-winter season, is about to begin. And Sugriva hasn't done what he needs to do. So Ramachandra sends Lakshmana with a little warning message. Hopefully that Sugriva will get a jolt and wake up and get his act together. Lakshmana, who gets extremely irritated when even the slightest of disrespect is shown to Sri Ramachandra, is now going to walk towards Kishkindha from Mount Prasavana. And Valmiki describes how that journey is when he enters Kishkindha, what happens, and what jolt Sugriva gets. So here's how the chapter 31 begins. Lakshmana, having seen Ramachandra uttering words of complete desolation, and almost like he's devastated without the company of Sita. Seeing Ramachandra in such a condition, Lakshmana becomes completely irked and speaks to Ramachandra that this Sugriva does not have the character of a gentleman. Now, gentleman is my word. After all, he's a Vanara. What he means is not being cultured. He's not cultured because Sugriva is unable to appreciate that his situation today as the king and one enjoying the exploits of the kingdom is because of someone else's grace, Sri Ramachandra's grace specifically. And because he has forgotten that, he is wallowing and reveling in the company of wives, children, kingdom, followers, money, wealth, prestige, that he is oblivious. And so his intelligence, his prudence is to be doubted. Now, as we hear Lakshmana speak, what I'd like all of us to focus on is, in one sense, the pastime definitely is valid, important, and true. Parallelly, from a lesson perspective, from instructions perspective, the conditioned soul within the material atmosphere is all of us. We are that conditioned souls. And Sugriva's behavior represents the behavior and the consciousness behind that behavior of a person or a living entity within the material atmosphere who has forgotten his or her innate relationship with the Supreme and is now very much attracted to the glitter of material energy in the form of severe sense gratification and enjoyment of matter. Sri Ramachandra, the Supreme Lord, is sending a message through his representative, Sri Lakshmana, who is the spiritual master in this context. And the spiritual master, in this case, Lakshmana comes angrily, but we take from a life lesson perspective the gravity of the message. And therefore he's called Guru because he is heavy or taking this very grave message, sobering reminder. And so he's walking into Kishkindha to shake up Sugriva. Therefore, there are many quotes of Prabhupada and our acharyas that the spiritual master is not meant to give the message of God consciousness or Krishna consciousness in a very sort of wishy-washy, soft way, but is meant to cut the connection to the material world. Now, cut does not necessarily mean harsh. Cut means very direct and not mixed with this is also okay, that's also okay, not that kind of message. So let's sort of orient ourselves in that way as we hear Lakshmana, who's obviously playing the role of a servant of Sri Ramachandra here. And so the brotherly love is also mixed in this as we hear this. But hopefully the message is important and we can extract it. He said that, Ramachandra, without your benevolence on Sugriva, he who's a primitive being, a monkey after all, would not have been able to enjoy what he's enjoying. In fact, he knows who you are because he saw Vali being killed by you. And yet, Sugriva is living a dishonest life. The dishonesty is that he's not fulfilling his side of the bargain. And so Lakshmana says, I am very angry at Sugriva, and now I will go and kill that Sugriva and remove him, because if I kill him, he's not going to be the king anymore. I will make Angada the king, and under Angada, all the fantastic, powerful monkeys will take on the assignment of searching for Sita Devi. When Ramachandra heard this, in one sense, he became alarmed. Although the word is not alarm, Ramachandra tried to soften Lakshmana. And Ramachandra said, "Oh, Lakshmana, in this world, please don't commit such a sin of killing Sugriva. Because Sugriva himself is a noble being. And you are also a noble being, and a noble person does not act out of anger, rather uses his nobility to pacify his own anger. Nahi vai tvam vidho. Tvam vidho means people like you. Loke papam evam samachare. They don't behave in a sinful way. Kopam aryena yohanti sa viraha purushottamaha. A powerful person is considered Purushottama, the best among men, when Aryena, by their culturedness, Kopam Yah Hanti, one who can curb or kill his anger by his character or cultured behavior. And so he said, Lakshmana, a person with good character and conduct is supposed to understand the matter differently, not the way you've understood. So Ramachandra previously said, tell Sugriva that the path in which Vali has gone is not closed. With Vali was killed with one arrow, Sugriva will also see such an end if he does not act upon his promise. Now, Ramachandra also is sending such a warning. But Lakshmana, the difference is Ramachandra is giving a warning for Sugriva to mend his ways. And if Sugriva does, then that threat to life is gone away. And the difference here is Lakshmana is not going with a warning. Lakshmana is going to just kill Sugriva. So what it means is, if cultured persons give someone one more try, one more opportunity. Now, of course, one may ask, how many opportunities is enough? Is 10 good enough? 5 good enough? How many times is one supposed to tolerate? And that depends on the individual person as to where the limit to their tolerance is. Someone's limit is with 2 warnings, someone with 3, someone with 10, someone has more tolerance. It all depends on that individual. But as an administrator, one needs to consider the effect of such tolerance on other innocent beings. So then Ramachandra says, all I want you to do is remind him of his duty. I don't want you to be so caustic and angry at Sugriva. All his sin is not that he is not that he has violated his promise. His sin is that he has lost track of time. So Lakshmana, when he got sobered by Ramachandra, folded his hands and went towards Kishkindha. However, his internal irritation isn't fully gone away. So he's walking with the posture of someone who's carrying a very grave, important message on behalf of Ramachandra, yet curbing his own irritation. So he feels he's compared to Indra, who's carrying massive bow, powerful bow and thunderbolts, and appearing as if he is Mount Mandara or Lord Yamaraj himself. Lakshmana is compared to be as intelligent or more intelligent than Brihaspati, the spiritual master of the entire demigods. So he is also a spirit. Lakshmana is the spiritual master, and he is compared to Brihaspati. So he thought over the words of Ramachandra, he mulled over them and said, okay, I will go to Sugriva's palace and give him the message in a way that he can understand. And while he is walking towards Kishkindha, Lakshmana is breaking down Sala, Ashwakarana, and Tala trees just by his own strength, because he's going with this very, very heavy and almost irritated mood, because he's upset that Sugriva hasn't done what what he's promised to do. It's like when a big elephant walks through the forest, trees that are along the path just get crushed. That's how Lakshmana was walking. So when Lakshmana reached Kishkindha, which is at the outskirts of the palace, suddenly all the monkeys that were there saw Lakshmana's lips quivering with anger. And the guards, the Vanara guards that were there, didn't, first when they saw Lakshmana walking like that, they immediately grabbed mountain peaks, large stones, huge trees, and became ready in a stance of defense just in case Lakshmana attacks. But when they saw Lakshmana's fury as he was walking towards them, they became so scared that they immediately dispersed in all directions out of fear for their own life, that you don't mess with Lakshmana. After all, Lakshmana is Anantasesha, the one who is the medium for annihilating the entire creation. When Sugriva entered the palace gates to inform the monkeys who were guards there that they can go and send a message to Sugriva. Now, meanwhile, Sugriva is inside his palace in a very deeply lustful condition, and would not be able to heed to Lakshmana's message. So then these ministers who were frightened and running here and there, some ran out of the city, some ran inside the palaces, some went upon trees and hid themselves. All these monkeys, although they are very, very mighty, could not stand Lakshmana's fury. In fact, some of these monkeys, it is said, had strengths equal to 10 elephants. Some were strong as 100 elephants, and some were strong as thousands of elephants. Yet, in front of Lakshmana, they had absolutely no ability to stand up to him. So here, Valmiki says, Dasha Naga Balaha Kechit Dasha Gunottaraha. Dasha Naga Bala. Dasha is 10 elephants. Some of them had the strength of 10 elephants. Kechit means some of them. Kechit Dasha Gunottaraha. Some of them 10 times that. That is 100 elephants. Kechit Naga Sahasrasya. Some had the strength of thousands of thousand elephants. Tulya Varchasa. That was their vigor and might. Yet, when they saw Lakshmana, these great monkeys just fled from the place. And all of the monkeys who were inside the gates, palace gates, also ran away. Some stood up with great regard for Lakshmana because they didn't want to infuriate him. Then Lakshmana, some of them walked up to Lakshmana with folded hands. to pacify his anger. In Krishna book, we know that when Balaram was very upset at the Kauravas, when they had insulted him, everyone got so shaken up by Balaram's fury. Similarly here, Lakshmana is like an angry tiger. His eyes are bloodshot and he's fuming like a fire. These are all the metaphors given by Valmiki. Sadirgha Ushna Maha Uchchasaha Kopa Samrakta Lochana. Samrakta Lochana means bloodshot eyes. Dirgha Ushna, very, very intensely hot. Maha Uchchasa. Uchchasa is his breathing, exhalation. Nishvasa means to inhale. Uchchasa means to exhale. So his exhalation was not just warm, but fiery. Babhuva Narashardula. He was like a tigerly person. Sadhu Iva Pavakaha. Like a fire that is very, very potent. Lakshmana became like a five-faced or five-hooded serpent. This is Valmiki's hint and indication that Lakshmana is Anantasesha. Bana Shalya Spurajjivha Sayaka Asana Bhogavan Swatejo Visha Sanghata Panchasya Iva Pannagaha. Pannaga means snake. Pancha Asya, five-hooded or five-faced serpent. So Lakshmana, who's actually very sober and always in the mood of a servant, took on his original nature like Anantasesha. Then Angada, who was in that place, became extremely scared of Lakshmana and ran towards Lakshmana and wanted to pacify him. Yet Lakshmana's eyes were full of fury and he told Angada, "Oh, young boy, go to Sugriva and let him know that I am here. I have arrived." Okay, let him know. And repeat these words to Sugriva. "O great Sugriva, the destroyer of enemies, you were distressed by Vali. And then there is this brother Lakshmana who's distressed, seeing the distress of his brother Sri Ramachandra, and has come to the door of Sugriva and is waiting. And it is important for you, Sugriva, to listen to Lakshmana's advice. And for you to listen to that advice, come out of the palace. So Angada, go give this message." Angada became scared and very, very sad. So he ran inside the chambers and told Sugriva, "Lakshmana, Saumitri has arrived." Unfortunately, Sugriva could not get the message, although Angada is speaking to him, because Sugriva is intoxicated both by spirits, meaning alcohol, and is intoxicated by sex, the lust that is there. Then Angada becomes very bewildered because Lakshmana's words are very sharp. And here Sugriva is not seeming to get the message. So in desperation, with a very sad face, he clasped Sugriva's feet to wake him up, to sort of bring him to his senses. Sugriva did not respond. So he went and clasped the feet of Roma Devi. No response from Roma Devi either. Then he went back and clenched Sugriva's feet, desperately trying to wake him up from his intoxicated condition. No response. Then he went to Tara, held her feet tightly, and begged to Tara and Ruma, please, somehow or the other, get Sugriva up. Sugriva was completely in a very dizzy condition. Sanidra mada samvito vanaro na vibuddhavan. Nidra, sleepy, intoxicated. Mada samvito. He was sleepy from intoxication. Babhuva mad mattaha cha madanena cha mohitaha. All the words are mada, matta, mohita. That's all that's there in this verse. Then, seeing Sugriva's condition, all the other monkeys that were there became very agitated. And they started making this noise, killa killa. According to Valmiki, they're making this killa killa noise, which is an onomatopoeic word, which means that the monkeys became very restless. Tatah killa killam chakruhu lakshmanam prekshavanaraha prasadyanta tam kruddham bhayamohita chetasaha. The other monkeys were completely freaked out that, my God, Sugriva is not waking up. Angada is failing at bringing Sugriva to his senses. Right there outside the door, Lakshmana is waiting. We can only imagine what this is going to end up being. And all the monkeys were becoming restless and making killa killa noise. And some were bolting away, some were jumping up and down, some were restless. With this whole uproarious noise that was happening around it, Sugriva came to his senses. He looked at Angada. His eyes were coppery red because of his stupor. Stupor means because he was so... Have you ever seen the face or eyes of an intoxicated person? They're usually bloodshot. And when he looked at himself, this is how Sugriva is. His garlands were all half broken. The flowers were ripped apart. The garland string was showing. These are all indications that he was wearing this fragrant garland and at night was having way too much fun. His ornaments were all topsy-turvy. Everything was disheveled and disarrayed. When Angada gave him this message, on Sugriva's side were two ministers, Laksha and Prabhava. They both told Sugriva that Lakshmana wants to discuss about the prosperity of Kishkinda, which means that if you don't listen, there won't be any Kishkinda. So these two ministers were sitting there like Indra has ministers who advise him. They were giving him good advice. Please, Sugriva, get up. This Ramachandra and Lakshmana are two brothers who are worthy to rule the entire world. And they are the ones who have given you this kingdom. It is your time to express your friendship to him. So please, and one among those brothers, Lakshmana, holding his bow, a quiver full of arrows, panicking all the monkeys, sending out all these alarms, standing right outside the door. And here's a beautiful verse that I think is very, very important verse and has parallel to what we hear in the Bhagavad Gita. So I'll recite the verse and we'll see the parallel. Sa esha Raghava Bhrata Lakshmano Vakya Sarathi Vyavasaya Ratha Prapta Tasya Ramasya Shashanat. Sa esha Raghava Bhrata. This brother of Ramachandra, Lakshmana, that is Lakshmana, Vakya Sarathi. This is a metaphorical expression. They are saying that Lakshmana has arrived on a chariot. This chariot was driven by Vakya. The Sarathi of the chariot was Vakya, Ramachandra's instruction. So in the picture of the Bhagavad Gita, there's Arjuna, and then there is the chariot driver, Krishna himself. And it is the instructions of Krishna, the Vakya, which are meant to drive the chariot of our life. So Lakshmana has arrived on the chariot driven by the instruction or the words of Ramachandra. Okay. What is the chariot made of? In Katha Upanishad, we know the chariot is made of the body, the five senses of the horses. But for a person who is committed to devotional life, their chariot is made of Vyavasaya. So Bhagavad Gita 2:41. Vyavasayatmika buddhihi ekeha kurunandana. Vyavasaya means resoluteness or a resolve, determination that whatever happens, I will fulfill the instructions of the spiritual master. Here Lakshmana's resolute nature is, I don't care what happens, Ramachandra's words have to be fulfilled. Prabhupada uses the phrase, taking the instructions of the spiritual master as one's life and soul. Praptaha means has arrived. He has arrived on a chariot of his resoluteness or his resolve. That's a more appropriate word, on his resolve or determination, driven by the words of Ramachandra. Tasya Rama Shashanat. Shashanat means instruction or order of Ramachandra. Very beautiful verse. This is verse 47 of chapter 31. And he says, oh, this Lakshmana is such that he has rushed Angada to come and speak to you. So, oh king of monkeys, Sugriva, please don't make Lakshmana wait at the door. It is not in your best interest to keep him waiting. Please quickly take your friends, relatives, your ministers, run outside, prostrate, fall on the ground, fall at his feet, and somehow pacify Lakshmana. Tasya murdhana pranamya. Murdhana means head. Pranamya, your head should touch the ground. Tasya murdhana pranamya tvat saputra sahabandavaha. Take your son and relatives, and all of you go and offer obeisances to Lakshmana. Gacha shigram Maharaja. Go quickly, O king. Rosho hi adya upashyamantaha. Please pacify Lakshmana's anger. Yata aha ramo dharmatma tat kurushva samahitaha. Rajan tishthasva samaye bhava satya pratishrabaha. Whatever promise you have made to Ramachandra, that great dharmatma Ramachandra, tishtha sva samaye, please fulfill that promise wholeheartedly. Bhava satya pratishrava, make your words come true. With this warning, they shake up Sugriva. So I'm going to pause here and see if there are any questions or comments on our condition, Sugriva, Lakshmana, anything on the verse about the chariot that has driven Lakshmana to this situation. Anything? Okay, seems like nothing. Cool. Next time, we will continue with what Sugriva does. Interestingly, Sugriva is not the one who goes and speaks with Lakshmana first. It will be Tara. Tara is a very, very intelligent lady. She is one of the persons who, it seems, arrived or manifested when the churning of the milk ocean happened. And this Tara is the daughter of Sushena, who is the physician for all the Vanaras. This Tara is very intelligent. She gave Vali good advice. And now on behalf of Sugriva, will form a shield for Sugriva and pacify Lakshmana. I'm waiting to hear what she has to say. Anything from anyone's side? Final something? Any reflection? Any comments?
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please accept my obeisances. All Gosha Prabhu. Thank you so much for the class. I think, I never heard this before. It's a very powerful reflection for me to take, that Sugriva was being punished because of not keeping track of time. And then since time is also Krishna's energy, so we have to abide by Krishna's energy. So that's a very powerful reflection. So I never knew that. So thank you so much for sharing. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Keeping track of time means he had said, I will complete this in such and such time, and he did not fulfill that.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
1 second.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. This is Veda here.
Yes.
One thing I was just reflecting on is while Lakshmana gets angry and and you mentioned he sobered up. He's sobered after speaking to Rama before he goes, and of course his anger still comes out in a different way. But I was just earlier this week we were reading the little passage where Narad Muni tells the snake, show your. I never asked you to not show your fangs, but don't bite them. Don't bite people. So in a way, it is, and we were just discussing in terms of what it means for us, one thing is to really not that we have to show our anger on the other person, but it is more of coming into integrity with oneself, and with all the parts of us that might be feeling anger and whatever else, all the affects or all the emotions that we are feeling, but really coming to a place of strength and meeting the other person. I was just on that lines, I was really inspired by Lakshmana's it is whatever he's feeling. I mean, he cannot deny the fact that he is feeling anger, and it comes out in the way he walks. It comes out in his demeanor. At the same time, it's not like he's trying to pour out all his nitty-gritties and everything onto the other person. So that's what I was just reflecting.
Right. Thank you for sharing that. That's really nice. Lakshmana's anger is not for himself. When he's insulted, he doesn't get angry. He just is quiet. His anger is that the service to the Lord, to Ramachandra, has not been done. So his anger is fully spiritual. It is not his, he doesn't feel insulted at all. Meaning, he because of his love for Ramachandra, that is his anger. This is the same anger that Hanumanji expressed in Lanka and burnt it down. But when Hanuman himself is insulted or said, Ravana says lots of things. Hanuman doesn't get angry that he was told something. So that distinction is important to remember as we go through, and in the entire Ramayana, when we see Lakshmana's fury or anger.
Yes, Prabhu. And sorry, I just wanted to add something since you brought that up. In a way, I mean, earlier I've heard this so many times, but in a way it's getting clearer and clearer for me personally. It's when in Lakshmana's case, it's not out of his own biographies.
Right.
Out of his own past, whatever, every time this happened, I get angry kind of past. He's there in the present, and he's there in a service mode, and that's what is happening for him right now. Whereas of course in my case, it is it's probably a baggage of all the past, that's an exuberated anger coming mixed with the past and the present put together. While you were saying that, just reflecting on that.
In Nectar of Instruction, Manasa Krodha Vegam section, Prabhupada writes that one must express anger express anger when the Lord or his devotees are insulted or blasphemed. And one of the expressions is to be upset with Mayavada or Mayavadi. I mean, doesn't mean that anger is you yell or hit or them, but to object is part of that expression. To say nothing, to do nothing is actually incorrect. When the insult or blasphemy is for the deity or the devotee or any of the bhakti aspects or angas, when it is towards oneself, one should not react. So that section is important to make that distinction. So Lakshmana's anger is the former one, not the latter. Okay, anyone else? Yeah, thank you, Shweta. So there's a comment here or a question. How can we make the spiritual master's instruction our life and soul? My first answer is I wish I knew. I would have worked on it. So principally speaking, there are different ways to respond to this. As of today, given Lakshmana's context, it all depends on the intensity of affection and love one has for one's spiritual master. To that degree, the words carry that weight. So it's for each one of us to assess and feel that affection that we have or we can develop for one's spiritual master. So I'd like to respond to it today in that way. Another day, maybe I'll say it differently, but from the angle of gratitude, because gratitude feeds the sense of affection and love. So there are practical aspects of gratitude, actually serving through Sushrushaya. There is Ruchi, Vasudeva Katha Ruchi. In the 5th chapter of 1st canto Bhagavatam, Narad Muni is expressing that for the Bhaktivedantas, he had rendered service to them, heard from them, and that's what made their words very, very potent for him. So it's not just the words, but it's the person. And then the person's words carry weight. So the person needs to be residing in one's heart. So in this case, the spiritual master is who we're talking about. One's deity and guru must reside in one's heart. And as a sadhaka, when I say must, not that I have, must means that's sort of the aspiration. The pathway for that, the sadhana for that is every day glorifying the spiritual master at least 3 times a day, reflecting on, not 3 times a day at least, but minimum, reflecting on what the presence of such a personality in one's life means. And sort of internalizing it. That relationship then is experienced by the value of the words or instructions they give. So that would be my way of responding to it today. If others have insights on it, I welcome. Anything else? Okay, sounds good. See you again next Saturday. I think we can keep it consistent from now on. Hopefully, where I am, the internet connection's okay. And then in a couple of weeks, I'll be back in the US. And then we'll hopefully take it from there more consistently.
Just a quick logistical question, Prabhu. So is this just for now you're having a shorter class or something?
No, we went through 748. Sometimes if I do 2 chapters, or depending on the content, sometimes I hit more than an hour. We haven't spoken in almost 2 months, so I didn't want to come out and give a long, boring class.
Okay.
So it is also part of just keeping it short. It's easier.
Yeah, just for your information, this timing is like I have half an hour in the morning on Saturday, so I this was helpful to me. So thank you so much.
Okay, thanks.
Hare Krishna.
Anyone else? Anything? Reflections, comments, thoughts? All right. Thank you. Very, very nice to see all of you. I'm so delighted to be in your association again. I've been missing all of you. So see you again soon. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Sitaram Lakshman, Hanuman ji ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you.